This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to your Friday edition of the afternoon show here live, of course, on the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. I'll be your host and producer this afternoon, Logan Landers, and joining me here today is Tony and Chris Gonzalez. Chris, we're going to talk a lot, my friend. Me and you, we're going to talk a lot. Reds and Braves, the absolute insane game last night. But how are you doing this Friday, man?
Doing pretty good. It's actually not 100 degrees outside today. But I'll tell you what, yesterday was crazy. We had like a 45-degree difference in temperature in less than 24 hours. It went from being 100 degrees outside to being in the 50s last night. It was I went outside last night and had a hoodie on. It was kind of weird, but beautiful out today. Right about like 75 degrees and sunny. So it's going to be a nice weekend here. Get a break from the hot temperatures.
Yeah, keep the Mucinex on hold with the temperature changes and stuff like that. So got to be well stocked. And Tony, how about you, man? How you been? What's your Friday been up to so far?
Went to the grocery store, got me some rib tips from a food truck. Going pretty good.
I got you. Okay. We already got a comment here from Francesca chiming in saying, Pawpaw and Uncle Chris. There you guys go. Yeah, there you go.
I don't know what the rest of that means, but okay.
That's actually
that's Ellie. It's actually his granddaughter, my niece.
That's my granddaughter. She's using her mom's whatever.
I got you. Okay.
It's my granddaughter. She just turned 12 yesterday.
Well, happy belated birthday to her, and we thank her for checking out the show today. Guys, if you enjoy all this great content, birthday wishes, and more here on the network, like, comment, share, and subscribe. We go live each and every single day, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, you name it. You can find us here live, of course, on the ESCN. Check out our link tree in the description. Find all of our shows. Find Afternoon Show. Find the Unscripted Show, Whiskey Hour, Gonzo, it's Wrestling Room, Sports Room, and all the other great original shows we have here on the platform. Just tap into the link tree and check us out over there. All right, Chris, I brought it up. We talked about it in the pre-show. We got to talk about it now on the air. The absolute just batshit game that the Braves and Reds had last night, where it looked like for a while it was going to be a blowout, and then it quickly wasn't, and somehow we ended up in extra innings. Final score, Atlanta 12 and Cincinnati with 11 in 10 innings. But obviously, the bulk of this conversation is going to be around the 8-8-8. Braves score 8 runs in the 8th, followed up by the Reds scoring 8 runs in the 8th to tie it up. I mean, what an insane game. I wasn't able to watch it, but I was looking at all the highlights and everything from the morning, and I just the fact that we had a relief pitcher out there who also has already been optioned to AAA, which rightfully so. Gave up, I think, 5 runs. Didn't even get an out. I mean, you can't do much of a worse job than that. So it's just kind of been the epitome. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I gotta believe that Braves bullpen is bottom 10 easily in the league. We saw they made a couple of moves prior to the deadline. We're going to talk about the trade deadline as well. But yeah, I wasn't surprised that we gave up that amount of runs. It's happened. Maybe not 8, but it's happened to 3 to 5 many, many times this season. So I was still shocked, but I really shouldn't be at this point with how things have gone this year. But ultimately, they pulled out the win thanks to a sac fly and extras, and get the win today. They are playing currently. At the moment, the Reds have the lead right now in that game, 1-0. But we're also going to kind of preview the Saturday game because that's going to be the classic matchup they're going to be playing at Bristol Motor Speedway, the first time a baseball game's ever been played in a NASCAR track. So that's going to be fun to watch. But Chris, let's get your thoughts on last night's game. Just kind of recap everything. What did you think? Did you think you guys had a chance, or did you kind of just say outright, you know what, we'll get them again tomorrow?
Well, it was a crazy game because it was a 3-3 game going in the 8th inning. I mean, 3-3 game going in the 8th inning, and before that, I mean, the Reds actually had a 3-1 lead, and then Braves tied it up 3-3, and was 3-3 for a while, and then 8th inning, all hell broke loose. The Reds made a couple of silly errors that, I mean, well, the one error on Cabrian Hayes, it was a tough play. That ball took a weird hop on him. He tried to position himself so he's going to be able to filter off the hop and make the throw, and the ball squirted to the left on him. They called it an error. It could have. I've seen that not be called an error before. It could have went either way. But then Steer, a little ground ball down first baseline. You can see the spin on the ball is going to stay fair. All you had to do is pick it up, throw it to first, and that's an out. We don't get it out there. They get bases loaded, and that's when they went on there. It surprised me that the Braves scored 8 runs in one inning. Reds usually don't happen. I mean, yeah, we've gave up 3-4 runs in an inning, but 8. And so once that happened, I was like, man, this game's over. We're down 11-3 now in the 8th inning. But then I don't think I've ever seen it before. Reds come up to bat in the 8th inning. They had 8 straight hits. There wasn't no walks. No walks, no 8 straight hits to start the inning to score all those runs with no outs. And then, of course, like Logan said, we go into extra innings. I hate the extra inning rule. I hate putting a runner on second base. And I'd have felt the same way even if the Reds would have won that game that way. Braves get basically 2 sack flies, and you win the game. It just, I wish they would just play the game out. I know people say, oh, it takes too long. I've never been to a baseball game that's went extra innings and complained about the game going extra innings. Like if I go to a live game and it's going extra innings, everybody's hype going crazy. You know what I mean? Everybody's into the game because it's a real good game. So only downfall is if you do play a 16, 17 inning game, it messes up your pitching staff for the next few games and your rotation. So I understand that part of it. But like for time, I don't think that's an issue because like I said, I don't know any baseball fan that goes to a game that's going to complain if the game goes 16, 17 innings because, hell, you're part of it. You're there for a historic game.
Yeah.
So
especially in this case, yeah.
If you want to put a runner on base, I think it should be first base. I just don't think you should put a runner in scoring position. Like put them on first and make that team have to get them in scoring position. To me, you're giving the offense too big of an advantage because you're already putting a runner in scoring position. But it was a fun game to watch. One of the crazier games I watched. But I'd like to know because it might not be the first time it's ever happened. I think it's the first time I've ever been watching a game and saw a team get 8 straight hits like that. I mean, it was crazy, just one after another.
Yeah, and Tony, what were your thoughts on the game? And I guess we'll also just kind of do a little side topic here of the extra innings rule. We know we've had it for a while, but have you kind of grown to it, or are you still just kind of more in the case of let's just go back to the classic sense?
I don't mind it that much on that, but yeah, I kind of agree. I'd rather just keep it the way it was, just play ball. But yeah, I followed the game. We got down, 10-3 or whatever it was, 11-3, whatever it was. I said it's over, and then I said, well, someone get up and grab my phone and see how bad we got beat. And then next thing I know, we're tied going to the 9th. So yeah, but I mean, we could say it's a game we should have won. We could say no because Atlanta got up so many runs, but we had a 3-1 lead. It was a crazy game. The Reds can't afford to be losing games right now. I know Atlanta's pretty far back, but that's a game we could have gained some ground on. So we need these next 2.
You're muted, Logan.
Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry. The game that's going on right now, Cincinnati's now up 3-0. It's in the top here. I'll go to that in a minute, but just kind of looking at the 12-11 last night, and unfortunately, like I said, there's 30 combined hits as well.
Yeah.
Like for the 8 in a row, which is more than some teams get in a game. So that was just kind of the icing on top of that one. But also we got Joe chiming in. What's going on, Joe? Hope you're having a good Friday, man. But yeah, it looks like so you guys got the lead at the moment, and this game here, game 2 of the series, and we'll see if there's another 8th inning explosion of runs and hits like we saw last night. There's no telling.
I'll tell you what, I would have loved to have been at that game last night. That'd been a great game to go to as a fan. One team having 17 hits, the other team having 13 or 14, and Yeah, that'd be a great game to be at as a fan with all the stuff that was going on.
Yeah, I agree. But let's talk about tomorrow's game. Speedway Classic, first one ever played. History between both these teams. So, guys, if there's a trivia in a bar in 5 years, 10 years from now, saying who were the two teams in the Speedway Classic, we can confidently say it was the Braves and the Reds. It's going to be pretty neat. They're on Bristol Motor Speedway out there in Tennessee. First time baseball games have been played on a racetrack like that. Already projected, and it's not official yet, obviously, but it's projected 85,000 fans, which would break a long-standing attendance record since the 1800s. If that does come to fruition, which by all indicators seems like it. The reason the teams are playing an early game today is because, well, they're in Cincinnati. They got to travel to I believe, is it Knoxville is where they're playing tomorrow? Bristol. Yeah, Bristol. It's in the name. But you got to travel to Bristol, which I don't know the exact travel date, the exact miles, but it's not like it's, right up the road. But it's not also like you're going coast to coast.
It's probably, if you're driving, because I know from here, from where I live in Indiana, driving there is about 6.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So from Ohio, it's probably 6 to 8 hour drive.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they're
They probably got first class.
So it's probably 45 minute flight, something like that.
I'll say get in tonight after the game and relax for a little bit. And
yeah, that's why they're playing so early today too. That's why it started like noon.
Yeah, it was like a 12, I think a 12:15, 12:45, give or take start time for that one for first pitch. But I'm excited, guys, because they're going to have the special uniforms where the Braves are going to have the flames on their hats and whatnot, and the Reds are going to have kind of like the checkerboard look on their uniforms as well. The numbers are going to look a little bit different for the jerseys and whatnot. So obviously, I mean, MLB is smart. They're selling a ton of merch for this, but I'm excited. It's going to be fun. I'm more so just looking forward to seeing how the visual is. When you see the field and then you just pan out and you just see, I mean, damn near 100,000 fans out there just at the stadium. So I'm excited for this. Just what were you guys' thoughts as we get, less than 24 hours, give or take away from the first ever Speedway Classic? And we're going to go with Tony, you first.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably catch just a little bit of it because I'm going to be watching SummerSlam. But I'll definitely check it out to get the visual of it and keep track of the game. It's pretty cool. Like you said, they had sold over 85,000 tickets, I believe, was the last I heard a couple of days ago. And they've sold tickets in all 50 states. And if I remember right, the other day I reported, I think it was over maybe 4 countries. So a lot of people are coming from all over the world to see this historic event. So I think it's pretty cool. I wonder how it got to be if it was because, where the teams are located, they end up being the Reds and the Braves, or how they come up with that game, pick that game to be there. I don't know, but I think it's pretty cool. It should be interesting, and I didn't know about the gear, so I think that's going to be cool, with the different type of numbers and all that. So they'll probably be selling some of those jerseys online. I'm definitely interested in it.
Yeah, and Chris, what's your thoughts on the first ever Speedway Classic coming up?
I'm excited for it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna buy me one of those hats, Dad. I saw they had the merch for sale. I think I'm gonna buy me one of the hats. But no, I'm excited for it. Have you seen the setup? I saw some pictures of the way they have the field set up. It's gonna look pretty cool once they get all them people in there around it. It looked pretty cool when they were showing some of it last night during that game. They were showing some of the pictures of Bristol of setting the field up and everything. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a cool view. And the reason it's the Braves and the Reds is because it's America's 2 teams.
Okay.
Remember, a couple years ago, the Reds turned into America's team. The Braves was America's team.
That's true.
They picked the right 2 teams.
And I'm gonna pull up an image here of the hat that you're talking about, Chris. Give me just a second here, and I can put it on the screen. So this is the Reds Speedway Classic hat here. Let me get this up on the screen. So you see, it's got the little checkerboard pattern here. It looks nice. It's something different. It's got that kind of like I know Big Glenn's gonna get about 12 of these shirts, jerseys, you name it. Even though he is a Yankees fan for whatever reason. But I think it looks cool. It's a nice little touch to it, and makes it kind of stand out a little bit more. Kind of reminds me whenever they did the Field of Dream game, probably close to give or take 5 years ago. Now they had the really old throwback jerseys playing in the cornfield. I mean, that's just cool. Something different. I mean, don't get me wrong. The ballparks are sweet. They're awesome to look at and everything, but it's a nice change of scenery. You know what I mean? It's something way different, especially for this case, because it's not even like it's another baseball stadium.
I like the patch on the side of the hat.
Yeah, the Speedway Classic hat. Yeah, it looks good. It's clean look, and yeah, they're gonna sell a ton of merchandise for this one.
I'm ordered one.
Yeah.
I'm not a big jersey guy, but I'm a hat guy. I have all kinds of hats. That's my thing when it comes to sports teams and stuff is hats.
Right. Yeah, and you got the alternate Reds hat on at the moment with the classic just shirt. So why not add more to the collection? But also we got Joey chimed in saying, guys, talk about the Carlos Correa deal, and we're going to do that here, Joe. We appreciate the comment. We'll just go ahead and talk this one first, guys. I wish Jay was here. God, I wish Jay was here because he wasn't here when the deal broke yesterday. The show was already over at that point. But the Houston Astros are bringing back Carlos Correa from the Minnesota Twins, who, I mean, if you look at their roster page today compared to yesterday, it's a brand new ball club. They've traded, I don't even know how many people.
I believe it was 12.
That's a lot of thank you social media posts they had to put up. I know that much. But they trade him for I believe, a left-handed pitching
12
prospect.
guys?
No, the Twins.
Oh, Twins. Oh, yeah, the Twins. Yeah, the Twins are getting rid of everybody.
Yeah, cleaning house. I mean, because they got rid of Duran, who's now in Philadelphia. Bader, who got traded as well. I mean, a bunch of other guys. I mean, you name it. And it feels like every position got moved. I mean, if you want to blow the team up, that's easily what we do so. I mean, they shed, I don't even know how much money just yesterday alone. But obviously the big one, we thought Durant was going to be kind of the big deal, obviously, because that's really good closer heading over to Philadelphia now, who's hoping to use him and help him with that division and going into the playoffs. I think it's a good move for Philly. And as we see Minnesota, they're blowing it up. They're wanting to reset the farm system. Hopefully, they get some. They got a ton of prospects. I mean, there's just a laundry list of guys they got. But in the Correa deal, they only got one player. That was it. It was just one player. I believe Minnesota's taking on $33 million of the remaining $106, give or take. That's on the Correa deal. He signed a $200 million deal in 2023. So he's already, going to year 2 of this. But what were your thoughts? I was kind of surprised that he not the fact that he went back to Houston, but the fact that this happened kind of so quick. Usually if you go to a new team, you sign for that long. And Correa had a no-trade contract as well. He had a no-trade clause. He waived it. But, man, if you're Houston, you got to be pretty pumped. Also, the fact that it's a former #1 overall pick coming back, someone who, helped you get a World Series. And it's a good play. He's a solid player. I think we're all in agreement. We don't think he's an elite player. He's not that A+ category player, but he is someone who, and he is going to be playing third base now. That's kind of been reported. He's going to be a third baseman now for Houston. I mean, it bolsters their lineup in a team that's been kind of dealt with the injury bug across the team. And I think it's a good move for Houston and for Minnesota. I mean, it's hard to tell because you got prospects. You don't know, you can look on paper and say, oh, yeah, these guys are tearing up, AA or AAA. That's great, but it really don't mean nothing until you get to the big league. So it's kind of an incomplete grade for the Twins at the moment. But let's just focus in on Houston and your thoughts on the move. Chris, we'll start off with you.
I think it's a solid move. It's just kind of strange, though, because if I remember correctly, when Correa left, didn't Houston not want to pay him? Wasn't this something to do with injury or some kind of medical?
I think he had like an ankle. Something with his ankle. Because I remember the Mets had given him. Or no, sorry, it was the Giants who gave him like a 13-year, like some insane amount of money.
Somebody signed him to a deal and then was backed out of it or something, didn't they?
Yeah, that was the Giants. Yeah.
Okay. So I remember there was some issues about his health, whether teams thought his ankle, it might be his ankle, whether it was going to hold up or not because of maybe a bone spur. I can't remember exactly what it was. I remember there being something. But it sounds, you're not paying the guy as much as you would have if you would have signed him to that contract. You got him a little bit cheaper doing it this way. How long does he have left on his contract? A couple years.
I believe he's going to be there until 2028. Yeah,
Okay, so
2028.
and it's not a rental. At least you have him for 2 or 3 years. So yeah, I think it's. I mean, a solid move. They need some help at third base, and he should be able to provide that. Long as he can stay healthy.
And also, before we get to you, Tony, the minor league prospect they acquired is Matt Mikulski. And guys, I really scratched my head on this. He's a 26-year-old player who's an A-ball. I feel like you could have got a lot. I mean, I don't know. 26 is kind of old to still be an A-ball, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, single A. I understand. If you're triple A or double A, that's fine. But single A. I mean, granted, like I said, I don't know if he's dealt with injuries or anything like that. But just on paper, if you're trading, a really solid player in Correa who's under 30. Obviously, you did this for salary purposes, but I feel like I don't know if Houston just didn't want to part with any of their, for whatever reason. I don't know if Minnesota wasn't impressive enough or kind of what the deal is. But now, kind of digging into it, I really kind of question this trade.
I wonder if maybe the guy if he was like in AAA and then maybe he had an injury or something, and that's why they had to move him down to single A. Because if not, I agree with you. That don't make no sense. Why would you get you'd be trying to get more than that? You would think for Correa. What I mean. So I don't know like that guy's story, but that'd be the only thing that makes sense to me is maybe he was doing in AAA and maybe he had a set injury or something and they moved him down to 1A for a rehab or something. But if he's been 1A most of the season and that's what they got for Correa, yeah, I agree with you. That don't sound like that was a very smart move.
So Tony, before I get to you, I found this guy's baseball reference page, and Chris, we hit the nail on the head. He has been an A-ball his whole time. He was drafted. He was a second-round pick by the New York Giants originally a couple of years ago. And since looks like 2022, he's bounced around from A-ball to high A. Current stats on the season, right? Let's just look at what he's done. Guys, I really don't get this move. I mean, I really don't understand this move. So in 12 games this year, he's appeared in 15 innings, which to me signals either being a starter, I believe, too. But he's got a 7.63 ERA. What in the hell was Minnesota doing?
What that tells me is
I really don't understand.
It just tells me it was basically a cash dump. They're just trying to get they were getting rid of anybody that they were paying a lot of money to and wasn't worried about what they were getting back. They just trying to get basically free up money.
Yeah, I think that's clearly the case.
Yeah, there was another issue there too. Correa, he had that no trade clause, and he told them the only team he would go to was Houston. So they was kind of stuck. I mean, and especially if Houston found that out, hey, I mean, they could have found that out and say, hey, here's what we're offering, take it or leave it. And, I mean, I think Chris said they want to get rid of him. They wanted to get rid of the cash. They want to get rid of him. I think it was more that than anything. And the fact that was the only team he would go to, so they had no leverage.
Yeah, I mean, they really didn't. So, I mean, obviously, like I said earlier, that Minnesota is only going to pay $30 million, and Houston's going to pay the remaining. But what I still don't get is you couldn't even get a double A or a triple A prospect. I'm not saying you have to get their top guy, but you couldn't get even a top 10 prospect in their farm system. You couldn't pay that guy the $800,000. If not, they don't even make $1 million in the minor leagues. I mean, God, this unless this guy goes on a run, because like I said, he's 26, he's in single A, unless he just goes on a tear. Oh man, this is a rough move if you're a Minnesota Twins fan.
Yep.
Yeah, I was trying to get a AAA player.
At minimum, you should have got that. Oh, you could have even gotten like a fringe guy, someone who's came up, started in 5 games, might have gotten beaten around or whatever, but he still at least is a major league player. But and who's at least gotten the double-A. But yeah, clearly cash dump, and that's it. We'll see if Matt can get it going. But yeah, the big thing is, like you said, they're just wiping their hands clean with Correa. They said, all right, Houston, you get him, but you're paying the bulk of this. You're paying 70 mil or 100 mil of whatever we got left, and you can take them. And they're just kind of they're probably going to be in the cellar for years at this point, it feels like. Which, it sucks to see. You never like to see any kind of teams go into a rebuild mode, especially, you heard especially because like, Minnesota, they're very dedicated to their sports. But it just wasn't meant to be, unfortunately. And they, like I said, they traded, I think, 10 to 12 players. My God. It's a brand new ball club yesterday. A lot of the lockers are empty. Brand new players coming in. And if you're a Twins fan, you're going to get some really good deals on some sale items. So check out the website, go to the Pro Shop, and you're going to get some good deals today. So that was the kind of big move yesterday. There's a lot of other ones, obviously, but that was kind of the main focus. Kind of that happened later on in the day. Just kind of going to go through some other ones, and then if you guys have any ones you want to specifically talk about, we can mention them. But some other ones that I've seen, obviously Mason Miller being traded to the Padres. The Padres did give up, I believe, their top prospect in that, or top 3 prospect, heading to the Athletics. So that was kind of a big move there. I know JP Sears also got traded, who is a starting pitcher, but I think he has like a high 5 ERA. San Diego made a lot of moves yesterday. They're also, obviously, very aggressive. Mason Miller, is one of the hardest throwing closers in the league. The Tigers try and get kind of back on track. They get Kyle Finnegan from the Washington Nationals. We saw Merrill Kelly get traded. We saw Harrison Bader get traded. Eugenio Suarez, he went back to Seattle. Ryan Helsing, right, the closer for the St. Louis Cardinals, he went to the Mets, and the Mets also picked up Cedric Mullins from Baltimore. Baltimore also kind of just said, we're tapping out this season. And they got rid of him and Ryan O'Hearn, who I believe was their only All-Star this year. Like I said, we talked about Duran getting traded, going to the Philadelphia Phillies. You guys, I don't know if you mentioned already, but Brian Hayes, who got traded to y'all and exchanged with the Pirates from a couple of days ago. And those are kind of some of the bigger moves off the bat. But you guys have any ones you want to talk about that you saw that you were either in favor for, left scratching your head with the trade deadline now behind us?
The team that I really liked was the Padres. They got Miller. They also picked up a bat with Ryan O'Hearn. They got a big upgrade at catcher, getting Freddie Furman. So I liked what San Diego did a lot. I did want to ask you guys about Houston. Do you think this move for Correa? They also got a left-handed bat with Sanchez, and they picked up some depth in infield with Reyes. Do you think these moves? I know Houston's in first place, but they've been falling. Do you think these moves are enough to get them to the World Series? Of course, they've still got pitchers. They got a lot of pitchers injured. They still got like 4 pitchers to come back. Some people thought they should have went after a pitcher. Do you think this is enough to get Houston to the World Series, or do you think this is, I don't know, they're trying. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're making an effort, but do you think this is enough?
Chris, I'll have you start this one.
I don't think it's going to be enough because I still think the Detroit Tigers are better than the Astros, and then I think the Yankees are a good team. I think they got a little bit better, but when you have all that injuries to your pitching, it's hard to make a deep playoff run. Now, if they get a lot of those guys back, but as the way their team's constructed right now, I just don't know I don't think they have enough pitching to go on a World Series run this year. But if they get some of these guys back before the playoffs, I mean, that could change.
Yeah, I don't think that it's World Series lock them in with these moves because, like you said, Chris, it's the injuries, right? We don't know how these guys when they come back, first off, and second, how they're going to perform, if they're going to be up to what they were previously to the injury. It's kind of hard to tell right now. I thought Houston made some good moves. Like you said, they had some holes they needed to fill, and obviously they feel confident in their, starting in just pitching rotation in general. They feel like, this is our core group of guys. We feel like they're going to get back and healthy, and they can get us into postseason and who knows how far. But I mean, it's kind of, it's a 2-team race basically in the West. It's them and Seattle right now because, I mean, Texas has struggled. They're on and off, and they didn't really do much during the deadline. The Rangers did.
Well, they did get Kelly in Texas going into yesterday was tied with Seattle. I think they were both only 4 or 5 games out, so they were right there with Seattle.
I'll tell you what, Seattle looked tough as hell last night offensively. They were pounding the ball last night against the Rangers. I watched 3/4 of that game because I turned that game on after the Reds and Braves, and Seattle was pounding the ball. I really like what the Phillies done at the trade deadline, and then and I think the Mets got quite a bit better at the trade deadline as well. And then one other move I really like was by our Reds. I like the Brian Hayes move, but I really loved getting Miguel Andujar. I'll never know how to pronounce his damn last name, but I mean that dude, he's a bat, and we needed another bat, and he's a guy that can really hit left-handed pitching, which we could definitely use in our order. But he's hitting 295 on the season with a lot of RBIs, and his OPS is almost 800. I mean, he's the dude's a real good bat, and I'm really excited about adding him to our lineup.
There was one other thing that struck me was Detroit. Not they went and got a lot of big name players, but I don't know if you guys realize they went out and got 7 pitchers during this trade deadline. They picked up 7 arms. So I think they're definitely looking for depth, to try to make a World Series run. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously we know Detroit had kind of the season out of nowhere last year. No one expected them to do as good as they did. And like I said, I didn't realize they got that many pitchers. Which, look, you never have enough pitching, right? It's like in football, you can never have enough receivers. You can never have enough pitchers in baseball. Guys, you can plug in, plug out. If they work out, great. If not, then sit them down, bring everyone up. And I mean, like I said, Detroit they didn't need to do a whole lot. They're a solid ball club, top to bottom, in all aspects. So you didn't need to do a whole lot, but I thought that they're kind of solidifying their spot right now in their division with the rest of their clubs kind of looks like weaning off. Obviously we saw with the Central with Cleveland, they got rid of Shane Bieber, who hasn't pitched this year. Due to recovering from an injury, who is going to Toronto. But obviously Toronto thinks that he's going to be healthy enough to come back in the second half of the season at some point. And who knows, maybe guide them to a deep playoff run. We know Toronto's first in the East by 3.5 at the moment over the Yankees. And the Yankees, I thought, made some really good moves as well. God, Frankie's been telling us for how many years now? Just Brian Cashman, do something, sign someone, trade for someone. And I mean, he did. He got, Ryan McMahon, that was a good pickup from Colorado. They got a couple of pitchers as well. So I thought the Yankees did pretty well overall for the deadline. But I mean, yeah, Detroit, they're already 9 games up in the division. Cleveland kind of, I'm surprised that let's talk about some guys who you're surprised didn't get moved, right? And talk about Cleveland. Obviously, Class A isn't going to get traded anywhere. He probably would have been, but he kind of took himself out of the running about a week ago with the whole gambling investigation. So that might have shot Cleveland in the foot with that one. But a big name that people were expecting to get traded was Stephen Kwan in Cleveland, who is an all-base machine and could really be beneficial for a postseason team. They ended up not making a deal for him. Here in Atlanta, I can tell you 2 names who everyone thought was on the hot seat that didn't get moved, and that's Marcell Ozuna and that's Raisel Iglesias, who coincidentally 2 guys who helped get the win last night against the Reds in kind of a sad moment, but also you gotta laugh at it too. I mean, just some of those guys I'm surprised didn't get moved around. Dylan Cease also was someone who everyone thought was going to get moved, but he ended up staying. Any names on your radar who you thought were definitely going to get traded that did not? Once we hit 6 o'clock yesterday and the deadline was reached.
Not really. I believe Clase would have got moved if that stuff wouldn't have happened with him with the gambling, because I know his name was mentioned with the Reds, and then there was going to be some other people that would have been. There have been a lot of teams that would have tried to get him to help with the as a closer. So he really messed himself up with the gambling. But other than that, I can't really think of nobody. I was going to ask you, Logan, were you surprised that the Braves didn't do much at the trade deadline? Like, I didn't expect them to really be buyers, but I thought, kind of like what you just said, I thought they were going to be sellers and maybe move some guys. Were you surprised that they didn't?
So the reason that the GM gave, right? And at first I kind of gawked at it, but then once you kind of sit back and think, you kind of get where he is coming from. Is he was basically along the line saying that he didn't want to give up guys, one who he thought was going to be on the team next year just for some pieces, and just to get rid of salary in a sense. I mean, look at prime example in Minnesota and Houston.
Yeah.
Because you have Marcell Ozuna, who's under contract for still a handful of seasons, but he's been kind of dinged up this year. And Iglesias, who isn't, he's not a young prospect, but he's not old as hell, who struggled this year. But I mean, what are you going to get for someone who just got his, I think, 12th or 13th save last night? I mean, maybe a relief farm for the minor leagues, but I'm not one to trade for relief pitchers in the minors. That's just me. And for Ozuna, the fact he's had a hip injury, that's just kind of dipped his numbers a good amount. I thought he was probably going to be the one guy, if anyone, to get traded, but he's a DH. He doesn't play the field, so you're trading for someone who is a little bit hurt right now, who hasn't had the best numbers, and is getting, he's on a pretty lengthy contract. So unless Atlanta didn't want to eat the money and trade him somewhere else, I can understand. But they don't have any pitchers to give up. Damn, they're all injured. All 5 of their starters are injured, basically. So you don't really have anyone to give up. You're not going to – they have all these guys, signed to, immediately long deals. Sean Murphy, maybe someone who could have gotten traded, but at the same point, you don't really have any other depth for the catching position. You have Drake Baldwin, who's had good moments, but you don't have anyone else in the minors because they have a poor minor league system now. That's just how it works. Is you get all these guys in the minors who are top prospects, and the Braves brought them all up. But now that's kind of depleted your farm system. The fact they haven't drafted well and traded for prospects well in the last handful of years, so you don't have any depth there at the catching position. Matt Olson's not getting moved. Ozzie Albies was someone who might potentially, there's kind of been rumors about him getting moved, but obviously they want to keep him. They signed him to a pretty lengthy deal a couple of seasons ago, and he went, I think, 4 for 4 last night. He looked really good at the dish. But obviously he's more of a defensive guy. Profar, yeah, I don't even know anything. You can't trade him at this point. He's not going to play in the playoffs, so it don't matter. There's not a whole lot of talent out there you could have traded. Michael Harris, he's only, I think, 23. He's still super young. And he's starting to get the bat worked around now. And their minor league system is there's no major prospects I can think of that are, in the top 25 of the league rankings right now who a team would just clamor for. And like I said, they're 15 plus games out from first place. You're not getting the wild card. You just kind of you hold your cards and say, all right, you just kind of wipe your hands this season. Don't make any drastic moves. And hope you can. I will say, if something doesn't get done in the offseason, if there's no trades done, if you don't get the bullpen fixed, especially because they nickel and dime their way this offseason, the bullpen, and that's what killed them so far this year. You got to make some moves this offseason then. If you gawked at the trade deadline, I can understand it. You're not in contention for anything. You're just kind of getting through the season. Then do something in the offseason. Get it back on track, hopefully, and maybe make a run at it in 26. But I've been at the point now where I'm just waving the white flag at this point, just waiting for the next season to start, just for the team. But I think if you guys have any other thoughts on the trade deadline, we can talk about them now. If not, then we'll talk a little bit of football here as our final kind of last few topics.
Yeah, let's go to football.
Let's do it. All right, we'll briefly touch on this one. Guys, football is officially back. We're going to talk about the first official game of the preseason, then we're going to talk about kind of some off-the-field stuff, talk about some Terry McLaurin, and also, damn, I wish Joe was here. Some more Micah Parsons dramas came out today, guys, and we're gonna talk about all that. But first, we're going to talk about the annual NFL Hall of Fame preseason game kicked off last night between the Chargers and the Lions, and I mean it wasn't even close. It was 34-7. Chargers got the dominant win in that one. Obviously, you know, this isn't a game for your first string guys. This is all backups, guys who hoping to really just also stay on the team, or some rookies drafted in the later rounds who were hoping just to get a roster spot or get in the practice squad. And some preseason action, like a lot of them are, especially early on. But obviously, I think the big takeaway that a lot of people saw, Trey Lance went 13 of 20, 120 yards in total, 2 touchdowns, kept it clean as well, no interceptions, sacked once, looked good there. And the running game overall for LA, 121 combined yards, 35 total carries. You saw a little bit of work from Omarion Hampton, who was one of their high picks this past year. But, I mean, it is what it is. Detroit offensively, like I said, you only score 7 points, so you're not getting much going on there. Did you guys check anything out? Is there anything you just happen to see football back on, or any players that kind of stood out to you in the game last night? Well, Chris, we'll start off with you.
I'm glad it's getting closer to football being back, but I didn't watch any of it last night. Like I said, I was watching the crazy ass Reds and Braves eighth inning, watching 16 runs get scored in 1 inning, which is still crazy. But no, I'm glad football's back, but I don't watch much preseason. I don't even watch much of the Colts preseason games. I might turn on and watch maybe one series or something here and there, but I really never hardly have. Even when Peyton Manning was with the Colts, I never really watched preseason. I can't wait till week 1 of regular season, that first Thursday night when they have them get that game. I'll be all jacked up no matter who's playing, and I'll be watching football. But it's just hard to get in the preseason because a lot of guys you see play aren't going to be playing in the regular season. Most of your stars don't play in the preseason, so it's just a little hard to watch. But I did want to kind of check it out, and I forgot about it. I wanted to see how that Hawkeye technology worked with the spot, the first down marker instead of the chain gang. So I kind of wanted to see how that worked, but I forgot about that. But other than that, that was the only reason I really wanted to. I just would like to see that one time, see how it works. But yeah, I didn't watch much of it.
I'm glad you brought that up, and Tony, I'll kind of shift this over to you as well. So basically, with the new, they got rid of the chain gang, which I'm all for. I applaud that. Look, I get it; it's been around forever, but I mean, hell, there's been how many times where all of our teams have gotten screwed over by that damn chain, and it's clear as day. It's like, what do you mean the ball's over the line? Not according to this chain here. So now they have, they kind of did what tennis does. You know what I mean? Where it's a electronic deal. They have, cameras set up to where they show it on the screen where it's just a graphic, of the football compared to the first down, like you'd see on TV, but this is more of what the referees can see now. I think there's one case last night showed that it was not a first down. So you just kind of got a glimpse of it, but I personally am a big fan of it. I just because you want to get it right. You want to get it as correct as you can. Now, it is going to be, I feel like someone's going to – I've seen a lot of people already complain about it. But, I mean, it's something new. You're not going to please everyone. But, Tony, what are your thoughts, though, just with, with the new technology we got going on with football here, with the new first down marker?
I haven't seen it yet, so I'm interested to check it out and see what it's like. But, yeah, like you said, a lot of times you get a lot of iffy calls on that, whether it's a first down or not. So I think that'll be interesting. So I'm interested to check that out. And one other thing I want to ask you guys, though, going back to the game and Trey Lance, I know it's very early in the season, But do you think this is Trey Lance's last opportunity? I know he's not going to be a starter there, but do you think with being with Harbaugh, think it's his Lance's last chance to try to show that he can play in the NFL and maybe revitalize his career and maybe not be a starter this year, but maybe have an opportunity get traded or play somewhere next year? Do you think it's his last chance?
I don't know if he's ever going to be a starter, to be honest with you, Tony, just because, I mean, we saw what happened in San Francisco where he had good flashes, but then he got hurt. And it just didn't work. And then Brock Purdy took over, and, well, the rest is history. San Fran, we also know, gave up a ton for Trey Lance. Gambled, didn't win. He's bounced around. He went to Dallas for a little bit, went to, I think, another couple teams. But, I mean, hell, I remember in the offseason, there was talk about him going to the Canadian Football League. So, yeah, as far as this is concerned, this is his last chance just to stay in the league. Good showing, right? He kind of showed that potential of a first-round draft pick, but obviously he's not taking the job from Herbert. We know that much. But I will say, though, that if he continues to play well, that he is going to be, I think he could develop into a really good backup. If all things keep going the way that, obviously he wants to, and the way that we kind of saw last night and some other previous games of Trey. But I don't think he's ever going to be a starter. At this point, it's already been, 5 years or so since he was drafted. And he's primarily been a bench player. But, I mean, he's definitely someone who could stick around the league for 10-plus years and just be a reliable backup if you need him to. I could definitely see that. So, I mean, I agree with you, though. I think this is, kind of his last shot to stay in the league. Now, if he keeps playing well in the preseason, I think the Chargers keep him on. Even if he gets let go, someone could definitely pick him up, though, because he is still, a younger quarterback, and he can always have, some good talent on the team.
Real quick, one thing I wanted to add when we talk about the Hawkeye technology with them spotting the ball. The only thing that sucks about it is the referee still has to spot the ball, and that's usually the big problem. Is the spot is getting the spot right, because they don't have a way of there's a chip in the ball, but there's no way of knowing when there's no chip in a player's knee. You know what I mean, or his body to know where his body was down and where that ball was at then. So you're still relying on the referee to spot the ball. Yeah, you're going by your 10 yards or whatever. I like that, but if that's the problem, is trying to come up with a way where you're getting the spot right every time, because that's where teams get screwed out of first downs is the spot of the ball, and you're still going to have the human error on that.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see what happens. But back to Tony's point, Chris, do you think Trey Lance, is this his last shot, or is this it?
I think his last shot maybe to kind of try to show a team, to try to get a team maybe to believe that he could still maybe be a starter. I think he's going to be around the NFL for probably a good 6-7 years as a backup, because he seems like he's a good teammate. He don't cause trouble. Like, he's been all these other places, you never hear anything about him. So I think he does real good in that backup role. So I think he's found the spot where he'll be able to stay in the league. But as far as starting, I do think like getting a chance to play this preseason might be his last shot of trying to show a team that might need a quarterback that, hey, maybe we could give this guy a shot. I think it's a long shot that happens, but I do think this is probably could be his last chance of trying to convince a team that he could be the guy. But I do think there's a spot in the league for him as a backup, probably for quite a few years if he wants to.
I think it's his best. I think it's his best opportunity to prove something, because who the coach is, because Harbaugh. Harbaugh is so good at working with quarterbacks. So if again, he's not going to be a starter for the Chargers. Everybody knows that because of who's there. But I think getting to work with Harbaugh could possibly change his career. I think. But no, again, we'll see.
Yeah, we will. And we see your – sorry, go ahead.
Look what going to San Francisco done for Sam Darnold, getting to work with Shanahan for a year in San Francisco, then moves over to Minnesota, gets a chance to play, and damn near won the MVP. So sometimes getting with the right guy and in the right system can change everything for you.
Yep.
Well said. All right, Joe, we see your comment. Don't worry, we're saving that for last. But we're going to talk about the NFL. We're talking about Terry McLaurin because he's the one who kind of started all this. So we're going to see with Terry McLaurin. Obviously, we know wide receiver with the Washington Commanders. 29 years old, out of the Ohio State, has been kind of a staple for the franchise for the ups and downs. Well, as of 20 hours ago, he has requested a trade from that franchise. Obviously, we know that these two teams, or the two, have been going through some contract negotiations, and it's just it hasn't worked. They haven't been able to figure something out yet. So Terry said, let's just get out of here. So just an ESPN article here. It looks like McLaurin wants to get around $30 million, give or take, a season. He has 1 year left on a 3-year, $68 million contract he signed back in 2022. So he's wanting to get a payday, right? He's getting a little bit older, but he is a very productive wide receiver, and he's wanting a bigger payday. And it seems like Washington is kind of pumping the brakes on it, not wanting to give it to him. And ultimately, he said, "I want to be basically pay me or trade me." That's it at this point. So let's start off with you, Tony. Are you surprised by this move? We saw this has been kind of going on all off season. Do you think a deal does get done, or is this it? Or is he going to resign, or is he going to go somewhere else?
Yeah, I was surprised by it. I didn't know where he was in his contract, and I know Washington made these moves. In my mind, thinking that he's going to be here, and now everything's changed. I understand he's probably I think he's in the top 15 of being paid. He deserves to be paid more. I don't disagree with that. I think it all depends on what he's negotiating for. If he thinks he's a top 2 or 3 guy, or if he wants to be a top 5 or 6 guy, I think that could be what the problem is. Maybe he's wanting to be the number 1 paid receiver. I don't know what he's asking for. So I don't think Washington should overpay for him, but I think it's a make or break for their season if he's on their team. I don't think they can make it to a championship game without him. So it'll be interesting to see what they do if they can work things out. But it sounds like they're far apart right now. So I don't know.
Chris, what happens here?
I'm kind of thinking that I don't know, because I don't know if Washington's going to sign him, and so it's going to basically come down to is McLaurin ready to, or is he prepared to sit the season out if they don't sign him, or is he going to come back play without a deal? Because I kind of doubt that Washington's going to trade him. Not only I don't think Washington wants to trade him, but even if you do want to trade him this late in the season, or this late into the free agency, you're getting the season getting ready to start. A lot of teams don't have the salary cap room, or it can be hard to get a trade worked out this close to the start of the season, where it'd have been a lot easier to do this at the beginning of free agency. So if you're Washington, you'd much rather try to do the trade a lot earlier than now. It didn't surprise me that he demanded a trade, though, because of the way the negotiations have been going. From what I hear, he's not asking to be like the top paid, but he's wanting to be around like 34, 35. He's wanting to be in the mid 30s, which would put him up there around probably like top 5 or 6. And Washington don't want to do it because he's 30 years old. So, like I said, I hope he comes home to Indy. He's from it. He's from Indianapolis, Indiana. He went to high school in Indianapolis. Of course, he played college ball at Ohio State. But come on back home to Indianapolis. I'd be fine with the Colts pulling off a trade for him.
Chris, would you make this trade, Pittman for McLaurin?
Yeah, I would. I would rather trade somebody else than keep Pittman and add McLaurin. But if we had to trade Pittman for McLaurin, I'd make that trade.
If you could sign McLaurin, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that'd be interesting, but we'll see. We'll see. But also let's give thanks to Joe for our roving reporter. We'll just go ahead and we'll call him. Broke the news to us, and now we're gonna break it here. We saved it for the end of the show. Things ain't going well in Jerry World, guys. Surprise, surprise. Micah Parsons has announced and has posted on his social media. I have the statement here that he wants to be traded out of Dallas. Boy, oh boy. First off, let's just go with initial reaction, and then I'll read you a statement. Tony?
It don't surprise me. I think it's been heading this way for a while. He's had some good seasons. I think he's probably deserved to get paid more money, but he's probably going to want to be the top paid guy now. I don't think Dallas is going to pay him as a top paid guy. So I just don't know if they trade him. Yeah, I see where they said they submitted directly, personally to Stephen Jones himself. So the trade request went directly to Stephen Jones is what Fox is reporting. So yeah, I don't know, man. He's the best defensive player they got, but I don't think they'll pay him.
All right, and Chris.
Oh shit! Sorry, I don't know what just fell. Something just fell off my desk. But anyway, I think this is just basically the same thing as what Myles Garrett did. Going to demand the trade, and then he's going to sign it. He's going to sign a big deal with the Cowboys. I think just trying to have whatever he's trying to use whatever leverage that he has. I believe he's going to sign a deal with Dallas. I think it's going to be kind of like the Myles Garrett, where he said he didn't want to be in Cleveland. There wasn't no way he was coming back to Cleveland. He wanted to be traded, and then boom, what 3 days later he signed the biggest deal ever. It's like, yeah, you don't care where you're playing at. You just want that money, and I think this is just Micah using whatever leverage he has. So I expect that they'll sign him. Now I wouldn't make him the highest paid because he's a real good player, but I don't think he's as good at the same level as like a Myles Garrett and TJ Watt, where I would pay him the same amount or more. I mean, he's probably top five. He's definitely top 5 or 6, but I don't think he's at that top 2. But I think he's going to get paid. He'll probably end up getting paid like he's top 2.
So this guy who's made the Pro Bowl first 4 seasons in the league, 2-time All-Pro, hasn't won any Defensive Player of the Year awards, but he has finished in top 3 separate times. So like you said, a very, very solid player. So I have the statement here. It's a little bit of a long one, so let me get some water first. And I will read you the exact he put it in his notes app because that's just kind of the trend nowadays. You write it in your phone, you take a screenshot, you post it on Twitter for what Micah Parsons said. And it doesn't look good for the Cowboys. So give me just a second here, fellas. All right. You're up for this one, boys. All right. First off, it's tweeted, "Thank you, Dallas," with looks like a lion emoji, a crown emoji, and the praying hands emoji. Now into the actual statement. Yes, I wanted to be here. I did everything I could to show that I wanted to be a Cowboy and wear the star on my helmet. I wanted to play in front of the best fans in sports and make this America's team once again. The team my pops and I grew up cheering for way up in Harrisburg, PA. Unfortunately, I no longer want to be here. I no longer want to be held to closed-door negotiations without my agent present. I no longer want shots taken at me for getting injured while laying it on the line for the organization, our fans, and my teammates. I no longer want narratives created and spread to the media about me. I had purposefully stayed quiet in hopes of getting something done, but since there is confusion out there, let me clear some things up. I had my agent reach out to the Cowboys last offseason after my 3rd year in hopes of getting a deal done early. Unfortunately, the team did not want to start any negotiations at that point. I was okay with that and didn't complain and focused on the 2024 season. After the season, I told my agent once again to let the team know we were open to negotiate when they met at the Combine. My agent informed me I should wait for other deals to get done because the price would only go up, but I didn't care and wanted to secure myself as a Cowboy long term. This was before any of the other pass rusher deals. Let me change it here. This was before any of the other pass rushers deals got done this offseason. I knew I would be leaving money on the table, but again, I was okay with that. Again, radio silence as far as my extension. In March, I met with Mr. Jones to talk about leadership. Somehow, the conversation turned into him talking contract with me. Yes, I engaged in a back and forth in regards to what I wanted from my contract, but at no point did I believe this was supposed to be a formal negotiation, and I informed Mr. Jones afterward my agent would reach out thinking this would get things done. But when my agent reached out and spoke to Adam, who he was told the deal was pretty much already done, my agent, of course, told him that wasn't the case and also reached out to Stephen Jones. Again, the team decided to go silent. At that point, we decided we would allow the team to reach out to us whenever they decided they wanted to talk. Yet still not a call, email, or text to get to my agent about starting a negotiation. Up to kind of here. Okay. Negotiation. Let's see. Sorry, here we go. Up to today, the team has not had a single conversation with my agent about a contract. Not one demand has been made by my agent about money, years, or anything else. Still, I stayed quiet. But again, after repeated shots at myself and all the narratives I have made, a tough decision. I no longer want to play for the Dallas Cowboys. My trade request has been submitted to Stephen Jones personally. And that is the full statement. So, after hearing that, breaking it down, what's going on in your head now? And we'll go with Tony.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like Dallas don't want to pay him. I mean, whatever amount, to a certain degree. But again, I just seen a statement made by Dallas. They have no intentions of trading him. So where do you go from
something here?
Well, yeah, something's got to give. I mean, they're not going to trade him, and he don't want to be there. So, how long is he under contract till?
I can find that out.
See, that's the biggest.
This might be his last year, though.
It could be.
I mean, it would make sense. He might still be. Also, he's still on his rookie deal. Honestly, I believe so.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna have to look here. He is signed. Yeah, this is his last year, 25. Yeah, this is his final. He's on. It says a club it's got a club check by it. So, but after the season, regardless, he's an unrestricted free agent.
Okay.
So
does Dallas
essentially Dallas still has him, but you'd be kind of stupid in a way not to trade him. It's either you trade him and you trade him and hopefully get something, or you don't and he walks.
Yeah.
But Chris, I want to get your thoughts though after hearing the statement. And I want to just kind of hone in on something that I'm seeing a lot of talk about. Just kind of learning about this on social media. A lot of people are questioning why Jerry Jones decided to have contract talks, nothing formal, but still talk contract without Micah's agent in the room, which that seems like a big red flag there.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember being that coming out not too long ago about that. But I still think they'll probably end up getting something done, because I think what it's going to come down to is the same thing I said about McLaurin. Is Parsons going to be willing to set the season out? Because if not, he's going to have to report and play this year on the last year of your deal. Then you're going to be an unrestricted free agent. And if you're Dallas, if you want to sign him, you need to get him signed now, because if you let him go to be an unrestricted free agent, it's even going to cost you more, because there's going to be teams out there that's going to be willing to pay him. Like you said, he's coming off his rookie deal, so he's still young. It's not like he's an older player. So if you let him get the free agency, it could end up even costing you more money than maybe what he's looking for now, because there could be a couple teams that could just make him an offer to try to jack the price up on the Cowboys as well. So I mean, I think it'd be smart for the Cowboys to get it done. You don't want them to go to free agency because for one, you don't want them chance losing them and not getting anything in return. But for two, I think the price could just go up more, especially if he doesn't sit out this year and plays and he stays healthy and has another good year. Because the biggest knock on him has been injuries. If he plays this season, stays on the field, he's going to be able to get all kinds of money as a free agent next year. So that's just going to cost Dallas more. So I think Dallas, if they're wanting to keep him, it would benefit them to get the deal done now. But they should have done it last year. When you do it early, it saves you money.
Some of the initial reactions I'm seeing here across social media about this trade request. CD Lamb, right? We know he had his kind of interactions with contracts and everything. He's tweeted out, "It never fails, dog. Just pay the man what you owe him. No need for the extracurricular." Some reporters in the area, or like Jordan Schultz and also Ari Marav, are just saying that Jerry Jones has a history of trying to bypass agents and convince players to take less by selling the America's Team brand. It's worked before and agents hate it, but it's failed plenty. And it's not working with Micah Parsons. It also seems like potentially teams are just kind of laughing at this point regarding this whole situation with Jerry, once again, not having to go through this long process with his players. Because this is pretty much like a yearly guarantee, it feels like, for a handful of years now. They get a good player, in this case Micah Parsons, or could have been CD Lamb or whoever it may be. You drag out the contract talks, you don't pay them, they want to get traded. Either they get it seems like most of the time they're getting traded now.
He done the same thing with Dak Prescott, and by doing that, end up costing them to make Dak Prescott the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
That is true.
Where if you'd have done the deal with Dak before that, you'd have got him a lot cheaper. Yeah, Jerry's he's done that a lot. Always waiting, paying guys late.
And this, this would surprise me if this is, if this is another case of that. Of Micah wants X amount of dollars. I haven't seen any amount out there, right? He wants this much. You don't give it to him. He plays this season. He does really well. Now he wants a little bit more. We know Jerry is. No, I mean, he's not afraid to open up a checkbook, but he's not just giving out blank checks. We'll say that much. But it's a fascinating situation out there in Dallas. And Jay, if you're listening, Godspeed. This is the year, right? This is the year. They're going to get back to the playoffs. They're going to get back to the Super Bowl. They're going to win it all. We'll see. Just final thoughts here. I see just quick thoughts. They announced that Wrigley Field, Chicago, the Cubs, that's going to be the host of the 2027 All-Star Game. So that'll be pretty neat. Just going back to the old friendly confines there in Chicago. And look, also, the thing is, too, is that a lot of these stadiums, they have to already have upgrades for the All-Star Game. I mean, like, Wi-Fi, restrooms, space. Look, Wrigley's needed upgrades for 40 years at minimum. So they probably just said, all right, look, we'll help you out. But give us the All-Star Game, and we'll do it. So that's pretty neat there. I don't know. Do you guys know if an All-Star Game's ever been played at Wrigley?
I don't believe so, because
immediately think so.
I don't think so, because Wrigley didn't have lights up until not too long ago, before they ever put lights in there, because that's why the Cubs always played at home. It was always day games for a long time. But yes, they might have, but not that I know of. I don't believe they have. But that'd be something to check out.
Okay, so actually, this is the fourth time they're going to host the games.
Really?
They hosted in 47, 62, and 1990 was the last one.
Okay.
So one time since I've been alive.
I've never seen it. That's why. Well, hell, I think they put lights in like the 80s. So
Yes, I knew for a long time they didn't have lights.
yeah, for the longest they did. I think they were maybe the last team that could put lights in. Which if that tells you just how much that stadium needs an upgrade. It took them that long to put lights in. I went to Wrigley probably about 10 years ago at this point, and it's not suited for the modern age.
I've never.
I mean, you
I've
go
never
into the
been.
pro shop, and I'm not even that tall. I'm maybe 6 foot on a good day with some shoes. I have to duck to get into the clubhouse, into the pro shop.
I've never been to Wrigley.
But that, because I know whenever, we just had the All-Star game in Atlanta, and there is a strict requirement of you have to have this. There has to be like a hotel within X amount of miles. That hotel has to have this, and this. The stadium has to have this, and this. It's a big checklist for all these stadiums and whatnot that have to comply by, which is not a problem for the newer ones, but Wrigley's one of the oldest stadiums in the league. So I'm sure that, yes, you are losing the old charm of the 1900s, but sometimes you gotta upgrade. You have to or else the damn stadium's going to fall apart. So I'll look forward to seeing that one in 27. That'll be neat to see, though. Also, I think it's kind of nice for the city to get that, after the unfortunate passing of Ryan Sandberg earlier in the week. Just briefly on that, hell of a ball player. Obviously, I never saw him live, but just from what I've seen, just through the years of studying the game and watching tape, and everything. I mean, obviously, everyone loved him in Chicago. That was their guy. He got the statue built somewhat recently at Wrigley, and made his mark there. I mean, there's a reason. There's Chicago fans are loyal to their guys, and Rhino was one of the guys. He was one of the guys that you go to bat for, and he'd do the same for you. And it's unfortunate, man. We lost him at such a young age. Didn't when he passed, but. That's just unfortunate with that regard, but nice to see that they're going to give Wrigley the All-Star game here and see how it does in 27. At the beginning, you guys mentioned there is SummerSlam this weekend. A little bit of wrestling news here. 2-night event, first time ever, so that'll be interesting. That'll be fun to watch. Any kind of initial thoughts on the show? Any big returns? Anything you're expecting to see, or just kind of going into it blind and just kind of going to watch what unfolds?
Yeah, I'm very excited. We talked about a lot last night on our show on Thursday nights, Face or Heel, Pro Wrestling Talk. We broke down all the matches and stuff. Man, it was really tough because all the matches are just really hard to call who's going to win them. And there's going to be 6 matches on Saturday, 6 matches on Sunday. I think Sunday's a more loaded card. I still think Saturday's got some big matches too. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm more excited. I think the SummerSlam card is better than what they had for WrestleMania, the card wise. Now we'll see if it pans out. Interested to see what Jelly Roll's going to look like in this big match with him wrestling, teaming with Randy Orton against Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. I'm interested in that. Of course, always like to see Roman Reigns. And then the big match on the main event for Sunday night, what's going to happen with John Cena and Cody Rhodes. So it's going to be fun. It looks like they're selling a lot of tickets. I know the first night was around 50,000 last I seen, and the second night was around 53,000. So they're going to be over 100,000, with both nights combined. And who knows, it could hit 110, 120,000. It could be 60 both nights by the time. And I didn't see that tickets was as cheap as $93. So, I mean, but that's you're going to be way out there and way up there. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Chris, your thoughts on SummerSlam this weekend? Kicking out, a big one of the big events that the WWE hosts every single year.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it'll be good. It is kind of strange. It's a two-night event now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just different. But I see why they're doing it 2 nights, because with all the talent you have to try to get, you almost need 2 nights so you can get more of your talent a chance to perform on your big 4 pay-per-views. SummerSlam I've always enjoyed it. It's actually I've been to what? Yeah, 2 of the big 4, and it's been SummerSlam and the Royal Rumble, or the 2 that I've been able to actually go out live.
Mhm.
And I think Seth Rollins is going to return, and I don't think Seth Rollins is hurt.
You
I
think
think
it's
it's
fake?
going to work. I think he's going to cash in on Punk Sunday. I think it's Sunday night. Wouldn't it be?
Yeah, that'd be the Sunday one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, wait, no. If he's going after Punk, it'd be Saturday night.
Okay.
Yeah. Chris, real quick, your gut feeling. Do we see The Rock?
I don't think so.
Okay. I don't know. I have no idea. They're it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to pull off. I think they've got some big things planned.
Do we see Travis Scott anymore, or is he out the door?
I think he's out the door. I think
he's out the door.
I think he was the opposite of Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll moved to Florida. He moved to Florida and trained to get ready for this match, and I don't think what's his name wanted to do the work.
They're gonna have to do some creative editing in years gone by once they kind of retell the story of WrestleMania and everything with Travis Scott and The Rock and John. They're gonna have to get creative with that, but that they'll figure something out because this guy was here. He did a couple things and it's kind of gonna scratch your head on that one and kind of move over to the next. Oh, so anyways, check this out.
Yeah.
Less said about that might be better down the line, but we'll see what happens here. But guys, we're gonna wrap up today, close up shop, get to the weekend. We thank everyone for tuning in today, for checking us out. We thank Joe and everyone else for watching us here on the afternoon show. For Tony and Chris Gonzalez, been your host and producer, Logan. Ladies, guys, be safe this weekend. It's the 1st of August. Be safe out there. Enjoy it. Stay cold because it's going to be warm out there. Just use sunscreen, drink some water, have a fun time. But until Monday, 2 o'clock Eastern, we will see you again another episode of the afternoon show here on the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network.